Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube, and today's video is going to be about how I made a recent rat commission. If you can hear a little bit of noise in the background, it's my babe in the background. She's just on the floor playing with her little toys. But if you haven't seen the sculpting video for this rat, check out my previous video. I try to link it down below, but I never remember. But basically I just go through the whole process of sculpting the head and also the paws, so check that out. So moving on to the actual construction of the doll. So I'm using a ball and socket armature for this doll. It's the smallest one that I have, 1/8 I think it is. I can never remember the size, but it's the smallest one that I have. And I'm just popping it together using the tool. It's like a little plier tool that you put the sections in between and then you pop them on really easily, and they basically stay on. It's kind of almost impossible to get them off and on without the tool. I have some in my shop if you are interested in the tool, and also some armature as well in different sizes. So once the body's done, I then start wrapping pipe cleaners around it, and basically the pipe cleaners act as like a little brush, I guess, so the polyfill has something to stick on. So if you're trying to felt with the polyfill onto just a straight plastic, it sort of is a little bit slippery and it comes off really easily. So if you just wrap some pipe cleaners around it, it's really useful to catch the polyfill and start felting it. So I have felting videos over on my Patreon as well if you're interested in having a look at those videos. But basically I use polyfill, and it's just the same sort of stuffing that you find in cushions, and it works really well for making bodies for art dolls. So I just basically do a little felting rough shape of the body, and including any sort of muscle tone that I want to include. And I find this way works really well for sort of refining the bodies a bit better. And then I go ahead and sew like a skin on with some faux fur, and I think it works really well this way. So for the fur, I'm using faux fur, and the customer sent me some pictures of her rat, and I sort of matched the fur to the photos as best I could, and also added some colouring to the outside of the fur as well, like on the muzzle, because it has like little points at the front of the muzzle. So basically I'm using a bigger piece of faux fur, and I'm cutting a rough shape around the body. So I always do the torso piece first, and then I start doing all the limbs and the tail at the end. So pin it together and then sort of refine the body with by cutting little bits and pieces out. So once I've done that, I then sew up the torso piece using a ladder stitch. I have a ladder stitch video on my channel if you're interested in finding out how I do that. And you also want to get a good quality thread as well, because you'll need to pull it a bit tight. And if you have a cheap thread, it will sort of snap the cheaper thread. And you can hear a little baby in the background. She's talking to her toys. And yes, so I just sew up the torso piece and refine that as I'm going along by cutting little bits and pieces off. And I'm still sewing this little piece while I was still pregnant, so you can see a little belly there. And yeah, so I'm doing all the little leg pieces. So it's just like a small piece of faux fur, and again, refining it as I go along and sewing it up using that ladder stitch again. Now for the tail, I'm going to be doing a Patreon video on how I made this tail, so check that out. I'll try and get it up very soon. I'm not sure when I'm going to have it up, just because little baby is taking a bit of time away from me. So yes, I'm working on the video as we speak, but the whole process will be over on my Patreon. Alrighty, so once it's all sewn up, I can start gluing all the pieces together. So the glue I'm using is a tacky fabric glue. I get it from Spotlight here in Australia, but you can get any sort of tacky fabric glue that's like clear or something. I don't like using like the PVA one, it just takes too long to dry. With the tacky ones, it's easier to stick and it dries really quickly, and it's really, really secure as well. So I fasten all of the ends off using this glue, including the legs as well. And just finishing off some of the painting before I apply the faux fur to the head. And I am using just like a little colour that I mixed up to make it a little bit closer to what the rat has. And yeah, before I apply the faux fur. So I'm adding a little bit of colour with some fabric paints. Now I have these fabric paints in my shop as well. I've just put them up. Link is in my description if you want to access that. I have a bunch of different colours there. Not many, but I just have a limited amount of them as well. So I've got 2 each, but they are over on my in my shop. And yeah, I really, really like these fabric paints as well. You can use them in an airbrush, you can use them on a brush. They're really flexible. So that is it from me today, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. I appreciate it. I have new things up very, very shortly. And I gotta go. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and catch you later. Bye.